Hi there, FCFL fans. Welcome to another edition of the FCFL Advisor Series. My name is Jason Chilton, the head of football experience for the Fan Controlled Football League, and I'm really excited to be on with Eyal Hertzog, who's one of the founders of Bancor and has been one of our longest-standing advisors. Eyal, how are you?
Oh, I'm very good. How are you?
Good, good. Really glad to have you on. And I wonder if you might start off, just give us a quick overview of Bancor for some of our fans who may not be familiar with Bancor or maybe somewhat new to the token space overall.
Yeah, sure. So Bancor is essentially a solution for liquidity. Now, how do we define liquidity? Liquidity is the ability to convert one token to another or one cryptocurrency to another. That is what you get through liquidity between all those assets. And today, this problem is solved through exchanges and market makers. And Bancor essentially introduces a very different approach to solve it using smart contracts that function as automated market maker and hold the reserves of different tokens and currencies, and essentially allow anyone to convert between them in a decentralized way by having the system self-balance itself, because when you buy a token, the price will go up. When you sell it, the price will go down. And that would mean that arbitrageurs would keep all the conversion prices between the tokens aligned with the prices on other exchanges. So today you can trade over 100 different tokens on the Bancor network. It's a Bancor.network. And we think that this liquidity solution, which is really using a very different approach where you don't need to match buyers and sellers. It actually separates the two to be asynchronous in a way. So I can buy now and you can sell later, and the price will be adjusted in those two events. But the idea is that when you make the liquidity work asynchronously like this, then you actually can guarantee liquidity to any asset. So even if you have like a small community currency, through Bancor, this community currency can always be liquid to Ether or DAI or any other currency of your choosing, and essentially be connected to the global financial network. And this is the main advantage of Bancor protocol, that it can guarantee liquidity for any asset at any size without needing to rely on exchanges and for-profit market makers.
Very, very cool. And we can talk a little bit more about kind of what that would mean to a fan who held maybe a fan token in a little bit. But first wanted to ask you how you first became aware of the FCFL and fan token, and just what kind of got you excited to be involved and want to be a part of the overall project.
So, I got aware of the project through my co-founder, Galia. We are four co-founders at Bancor, and Galia is one of them. And she introduced us, and we had some calls using Skype, and immediately fell in love with the team. And what got me excited more than anything is that they already did it. It's not like they came, hey, we have an idea of something to do in the blockchain. They came and say, hey, we think teams can be controlled by the fans, and we've done it, and here's what happened. And so that obviously got me very excited, because I was not even aware that that someone did that, and that's very, very, I would say, forward thinking to even engage in such an experiment. And it was successful on top of all things. And then obviously it made so much sense to take the learning from that project and implement that in the blockchain. And that would make this experiment so much more scalable, and essentially enable treating this asset as a, any asset that is liquid and can be bought and sold, and introduce very, very different dynamics, because all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, so what is a team? What is a league? It's like it's a community of sorts. It's a community of many, many people that are very much engaged in that particular group. And by using a token, those teams can essentially have stakeholders in there in them. So I'm always saying, we always say in Bancor that every currency is a community. It's a community of its holders. There is the Bitcoin community of all the holders, and the Ethereum community of all the Ether holders, and every currency is a community. And you can be, unlike Facebook groups, when you're in or out, with when we're talking about currency, you can be in or really in, so you could have a larger or smaller stake in the group because it's quantitative, so to speak. But it is a group nevertheless. It is actually very powerful form of group, because those people are essentially tying their financial future, so to speak, together. They will share the same future in that perspective, in that specific holding. So that creates a kind of alliance between them, like you have between Bitcoin holders that are feeling, rightly so, that they are essentially part of the same group, members of the same club, so to speak. So I think that we cannot even start to imagine the ways that people will use this newfound ability to issue your own currency. We cannot even imagine. Who imagined, ICOs? Who imagined that this is how new currencies could be used? It's mind blowing, and I think the same was with the internet. Who could imagine all the things that were built, and who could imagine Wikipedia? It's like. So there's like a new ability, and people are starting to experiment with that. And FCFL is, for me, one of the most fascinating experiments, because it touches a very unique type of affiliation and a club, and the emotional component in that type of affiliation is second to none.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. And as you said, you can't even imagine what we may be doing, let alone so many of the other people in the token space may be doing in a year or two. But at the foundation, kind of as you were mentioning, having a token that has economic value and can be traded and is used directly in the management of the league, really, I think creates those network effects where not only people are excited because they want to engage with the core product, they want to help guide their team, and then the more people who are getting excited about that, the more demand there really is for that token, and more people. And so having and holding that token early, that's a great thing. Your incentives are very aligned. Invite your friends, promote this on social media and everything else, so that more people are excited and more people want to be both using that token and just kind of taking part in the overall experience. That I know, to me, is one of the most exciting things.
Yeah, we used to do the same thing, but just for startup companies. That's how it would work. It would have shares, and would give shares to the employees and to the advisors, and you can grow, and everyone brings his friends, and whoever get in first and believes in the startup first get usually bigger chunk of the shares. So there's like a reward for being an early believer, if you will. So we had those same dynamics, but play out, but in different domains, not in sports. And I think that's the first time that, at least I'm aware of, this type of dynamic is taking place in a sports team. It's a very different kind of organization, and with a very different set of goals and challenges.
Yeah, and the other thing that's exciting to me, in addition to the fans themselves, other partners, be it technology partners, broadcast partners, etc., can also both participate in the token experience and the token upside, and that again kind of furthers their incentive to help the league grow and develop. If they've got if they're holding some of these tokens, and they can even find ways to deploy them with the fans, whether it's advertisers using them as rewards, or whether it's somebody creating a new technology experience or way to look at a game and incenting fans to engage with it. I think there's a lot of power to bring in probably more partners and more powerful partners and get them to commit more resources than they might otherwise to a startup league. So I think that's one of the reasons.
Yeah. I think this is I like to call this concept online economies, because when you create a currency, what you're actually creating is an online economy. If the currency is successful, if the token is successful. So there's a big economy around Bitcoin that disrupted, to be honest, mainly black markets. And there's a big economy around Ethereum, a large economy around Ethereum, and that has disrupted mainly venture financing in a very significant way. And we're seeing more and more economies being created, with the recent launch of Bancor as a prediction market economy. And economy is defined by a common currency, but it's not a for-profit enterprise by itself. It is a form of collaboration and organization of many people that, again, share the same type of the same store of value. And by sharing the same currency and using the same currency, they are creating a mutual common incentive between them. And I think that this is exact kind of dynamics that you want to see in a sports team. Kind of dynamic that we have a mutual common incentive to make this thing a success. All of us, players, the fans, and we're working toward that. So and we have a stake in that enterprise. As we have a larger stake, we have a larger say in the enterprise. So it's not like everyone is involved in the same level. It's not like a democracy where everyone's equal, so everyone has one voice. This is a specific entity. And that entity, different parties may have different stake and those different says. So I think those models will be fascinating to watch, and a lot can be learned from those models, not just for sports team, but in general about group collaboration and the way that you can incentivize parties to collaborate, not only for a specific for-profit motive, but to collaborate in order to create a larger economy by which is made of many for-profit centers, but it's not a single one. So it's like the difference between Facebook and Ethereum. Facebook is a single profit center, where Ethereum is an economy with thousands of different profit centers that are essentially participating in this economy.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And, that we're hoping to, we had fans last year with the Screaming Eagles in Salt Lake. They were helping us out with some very, behind the scenes detailed stuff that had always been the work of football professionals up to that point, whether it was helping us to scout and evaluate players, whether it's helping us to break down film and create our game plans. And we're hoping that we'll be able to even take that to a deeper level in the FCFL, and the fans will be really involved in the running and management of these teams. So, using tokens as a way to help kind of coordinate that decentralized activity and have a lot of people working towards a common goal, and then also having a dynamic of 8 different fan bases that all want the league itself to succeed, but are all trying to advance the fortunes of their own individual team. I think figuring out the right token incentives and rewards and things like that to really make that system work as well as it can is going to be a fascinating piece too.
Yeah, it's you can make an example of the success of Reddit. So I don't know if you're using Reddit yourself, but whoever uses Reddit knows that the content is just half of the fun, if not less than half. Most of it is the comments. Mm-hmm. I mean, the link is interesting, could be good, but the comments are, where where you can find real gems in Reddit. And I think that's kind of, it's the same thing with FCFL, that the difference between that and a kind of a traditional sports team, that within a traditional sports team you only interact with the team. I mean, everyone's looking at the team and the team is playing for everyone else, but there's nothing happening between the fans except maybe synchronized shouting, right? But there's nothing that they do that has any effect on the game. And all of a sudden, it becomes like a multipolar experience where you're not just experiencing the team, you're experiencing all the other fans experiencing the team and how they perceive the game and what they think should be the right move. And so it becomes, I think, much richer experience in that sense, and can add a lot of new dimension to the actual event of the game. So I'm sure I wasn't part of the experiment or the project that was done before, but I'm sure that and I saw people kind of talking about it, and I'm sure they felt part of it. But it would take it to the next level when we're talking about a blockchain-based token, and we just take it to the next level. Because
absolutely. And you mentioned Reddit, and Reddit and Steam, which is actually built around a blockchain token, have been two of the things that I've looked at. You got to look at the power of fans, both creating and curating content, whether it's upvoting, commenting, so that you're able to see kind of the best content and the best conversations rise to the top. But if you can find good ways to have a token help incent that process, and hopefully they're going to be fans that are really good at play calling, that are really good at evaluating players, and you can kind of give them a forum to create their own content, kind of collect their own fans within other fans of the fan base, and say, wow, these are some of the real stars of our fan base. I want to hear what he or she has to say, and find ways to reward those people for making real contributions to the overall team and the ecosystem.
Yeah. It's funny. You can probably rate fans by seeing what they recommended that the team do, and what was the result of that move.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually find the talented talented fans that really know to kind of pick the best next move, better than anyone else. There's so much crazy stuff that you can do with that, but it's really unimaginable.
Yeah. I mean, every fan that has ever sat in front of a TV and watched a game has figured at some point they know more than the coach, and they should be listening to me. But it's going to be a really cool opportunity to let fans kind of put their money where their mouth is, and maybe, not necessarily money, but get tokens when they prove that, they are really good at one or other aspects of running a team.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
It will be a lot of fun. We're really excited to have you on board. But just want to thank you so much for taking the time. It's great to get your perspectives on the different ways that a tokenized system can really make this fan-controlled experience really kind of go to the next level. Thanks. And this has been another episode of the FCFL Advisor Series. Thanks, everybody, for watching.